Okay, hello. Welcome back to Sugarcon. So this has been a really fun experience. We've been recording these interviews in preparation to share them with you so that you can meet our entire team and also hear inspirational stories, get some actionable tips on how you can grow your sugaring business. So I'm really excited today because I'm here with Emma Tschubenko. She's based in the Midlands in Stoke-on-Trent. She's one of our educators for our team, and I've worked with her for several years now. So, Emma, thank you so much for coming to SugarCon today.
My pleasure.
Do you want to start off and just let everybody know who you are, how you got started in beauty? I know you've done a lot of training. So, do you want to share that story with us?
Definitely. So how can well, I suppose the only way to start my conversation is I met you. You are what paved my pathway into sugaring. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am now, really.
Oh, gosh.
So
You
credit
were
to
my
you.
first student, so
Yes, I think
that's
I was
pretty
your
cool.
first connection to the UK as well, wasn't
Yeah.
I? I was a university student. And what was I even? Sorry, I can't even think. So I was doing a degree in international spa management,
Mhm.
and I've done my whole working career in beauty has been kind of, one stage after the next. So I started right at the bottom. I went to work on cruises. I came home and thought, right, I need to do something different. What am I going to do? And part of my degree was creating a report, and I focused all of my energy for the whole 3 years of my university life on natural and organic beauty.
Mhm.
And this one day, I just remember searching the hell out of the internet, trying to find referencing and information on organic waxing. Much to my dismay, there is no such thing as an organic wax due to the resin and the chemicals that were in there, which I didn't know until I came across you. And I can't quite work out how I stumbled across you. And I just remember the conversation going, I have no idea, and I cannot help you on the organic wax front, but ta-da, I have this amazing product.
Ring.
And that was it. My life was flipped upside down, and I was just on the sugar train. And
Yes.
here I am now.
I love it. And so you're to me a very well-rounded, trained beauty therapist in that you have done a lot of training and you have quite a bit of experience in natural skincare, working with clean beauty brands and things of that
Yeah.
nature. So tell us a little bit about, so how did you start then when you finished? I know you worked on the cruise ships,
Yes.
which must have been quite an incredible experience. And actually, what would you say to someone who might be listening? Because I imagine a lot of people who are tuning into SugarCon are curious about getting into beauty, and someone might ears might perk up hearing about opportunities on cruise ships. Any
Yep.
advice on how to get those kinds of jobs or what kind of training cruise ships are looking for? Granted, in this day and age, cruise ships might not be a huge opportunity, but let's hope in the future that
Yeah.
these travel opportunities for beauty therapists start to resume. Any advice?
Yeah. So cruise ships, it's two sides of a coin. I always kind of try to explain to people, and I try to be as honest as I physically can. They are the best thing you can ever do if you're wanting to travel, gain experience, and just kind of get a good place in the world. I
Mhm.
kind of say for the beauty industry, it's like the gap year that most university students take. It's so interesting, but oh my gosh, is it hard work? Don't be
Mhm.
fooled thinking that you're going to go and just lie on the beach all day. You are working 10 to 12 hours a day, but it's the best thing you do. The friends that you meet, the experience you gain, it's honestly fab. Experience wise, before you go, as long as you've got, your basic MVQs in general beauty,
Mhm.
then, that's kind of all that you need. You'll obviously do all your hands-on little training sessions to the educators,
Right.
and they will usually segregate you into which direction. So you can either go down the skincare route, the massage route,
Mm-hmm.
Or like me, I actually went into body corrective therapy, which was a treatment called anathermy. So even before I realized I was interested in natural and clean, I
Mm-hmm.
was already doing natural and clean
Oh,
treatments
interesting.
as well. So
I
that
don't
was
think
all
I ever
about
knew that.
detoxification. Yeah, detoxification, helping to remove all the buildup of toxins through the body. It was really interesting and I absolutely loved it. So I definitely recommend it to anybody.
Hmm. And then did you completed your degree after your cruise experience?
Yep. So I did the cruises for 2 years and I came home and realized that I needed something more
Mm-hmm.
than what I had before. So I did a access course, got the credits to go to university. So I did a degree that's actually no longer standing anymore, which is a bit ironic.
Ah.
But yes, it was the International Spa Management degree. So we
Mm-hmm.
covered everything from business, we covered trends, we covered the origins. We looked basically at every aspect of the spa industry, how it
Mm-hmm.
became what it is now. It's fab.
Hmm. It's sad that that program's no longer in
It,
place.
I know. We're still trying to wrap our heads around it actually to understand why, because the whole basis of the degree
Mm-hmm.
is everything that the world of beauty actually needs
Yeah.
for people to understand what beauty was, where it's going, to follow
Mm-hmm.
trends, to actually pave the pathway for real good educators in the industry now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a real shame and I hope that they pick it back up.
Yeah, it is I think a sign of how much the industry is shifting and how
Yeah.
rapidly it's shifting from kind of what the more traditional values in education were around beauty and those
Yeah.
expectations, and now the
We're
industry.
stepping up his game.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Okay, so to follow the timeline, then you finish your degree. This is when we connect, and actually, I was back in the U.S. I think,
Yep.
and
You
I was
were.
just talking about moving here when you and I connected, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have a student in England! How exciting!"
That was
But
me.
so were you? Correct me if I'm wrong. You were. Did you start then mobily, and then you went in to open your business?
Yeah, so I was doing my degree. I had my own mobile beauty business, so I was doing that in between. And then as the degree came to an end, I actually had my little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and I realized that there was no way that I could continue mobile. I just needed a base to obviously move forward with. I'd been doing sugaring in between university when I was mobile, and the demand for it, whilst I was just trialing it out at home, just grew and grew. And I just realized that I needed a complete base where I could be and I could just get more customers in because I couldn't keep up with the demand for it.
Mm-hmm. And one of the um, unique points of your business that really set you apart is that you were using exclusively natural and
Yep.
organic beauty products, which I have to say, it's not an easy endeavor to find a therapist who has very kind of strict standards in that space. I know this because I am that kind of client who
Yep.
looks for a place that, across the board has made decisions to pick and choose products that are clean. And yeah, so I think that's one of the things as people start looking about starting their own business and thinking about how they're going to differentiate themselves or even their own personal values around what they believe in terms of ecology, the environment, what we put in our skin, what we put in our bodies. It's of course a nice marketing standpoint to take, saying we're clean and green, but
Yep.
also it's much, much deeper than that, I think.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk just a little bit about why that was so important to you to distinguish your business in that way, and how that kind of dictated the choices you made for the products you were using, because you had full skincare ranges offering facials and the
Yep.
full treatment menu. Um,
I suppose like I was saying, every stage of my career has almost like implemented that natural, clean, green, environmentally friendly process further and further as it's gone on.
mhm.
So obviously, again, with finding the sugar in and realizing the benefits to it, it was just the natural step. Once I found out about it, there was no way there's no way that I could offer a customer something that wasn't as clean and safe and
Mhm.
environmentally friendly. Once I knew about it, I had to do it, and it was just had to be. And anyone that knows me, whether it's friends, family, customers, I'm the one that comes out with the ideas, this new thing, this amazing product that I found, and I chew everyone's ear off about it until they are sick of hearing about it, because I just have to share it when I'm so
Yeah.
excited and it's so good.
Yeah.
So even before you had actually transitioned over to the UK, everybody knew about this sugaring product, or they knew as much as I knew about it, because
Right.
I literally hammered everywhere that I could.
That's your
And I was
sales
like,
strategy.
yep, I just
Wear them
have to
down.
know. Yeah, I just had to shout it from the rooftops. It was just, it just meant so much to me to know that there was an alternative,
Yeah.
that there is something that's kind. How could you,
Yeah.
for me, there was no other way.
Yeah. I think too that when people first hear about sugaring, whether they've been searching for something or whether they've had a sense that, I mean, we see beauty therapists all the time who have amazing, gorgeous, well curated treatment menus, but are still offering waxing.
Yep.
And I don't say this coming from a place of judgment. I understand
Nope.
that there are and have been limited options.
Yep.
However, I think if you're looking to cultivate a treatment menu that has a certain ethos and it runs fully across the board. So, for example,
Yep.
even just the removal of synthetic fragrances. I'm the type of
Yeah.
client, I am extremely sensitive to fragrance. So when I did my beauty training and I started aesthetic school, it was a disaster for me because I had been using Dr. Hauschka, you know,
Yep.
and like gently patting my face. And then I was like getting the Dermalogica power peel, you know, and like breaking out and sneezing and having rashes because it was too challenging. I have a lot of allergies. And so I think that when people hear about sugaring or discover it for the first time, which is still very much what's happening in
And
the world of
yep.
sugaring, because we're forever, you know, particularly here in the UK, I've been here for 5 years. Sugaring was, of course, I didn't bring sugaring to England; it was already here. But it's
Poorly,
like
but it was here.
picking up the pace now. You know,
Yeah.
I think when people discover it and they know there's another option, then it is like almost logical
Yep.
to integrate
But
it because when you start having conversations with your clients about their skin, right,
yep.
on their face, and you start making suggestions based around the beliefs you have on using natural products, and then are using a synthetic wax that has heavy duty fragrance in it and pre and post
It
products,
doesn't.
then it kind of disrupts that a little bit. And
Yep.
it's for lack of better options. But I suppose to say now we have better options. So I,
I going into the having the options, I always remember, I'll never ever forget, and I think every therapist always has that one memory in their head. I'd obviously been talking to my customers and the transition that I was going from waxing to sugar, from mobile to business. And I always remember this one customer, bless her, she's a great friend. And I'd obviously spoken so highly of this sugaring and just thought that everyone understood where I was going with it. And I always remember her coming in to have a treatment, and she was thinking she was having waxing. And we got to a bit of a crossroad, and I just didn't. I was so apologetic, thinking, well, I've only got the sugar, and she was thinking, there is no way I'm having this sugaring done. She was so stuck in the way that she'd got such sensitive skin. She'd found
mhm,
a wax that I used to use that was okay for her,
yeah,
and she didn't want to budge. The irritations, the fragrances, she didn't want to risk something that could potentially
yeah,
harm her skin, knowing how bad it was. We moved forward with sugaring. The room was very, very quiet, and I was very, very nervous. And halfway through, I thought, I'm just going to have to like break the ice and just say, is everything okay? And her response was, well, it's bloody brilliant, isn't it? And I was just like, And that was while she was, she couldn't see me. I was doing a little dance in the background,
Yeah.
and it was the best feeling
Yeah.
knowing that I knew that this product was so good,
Yeah.
and I knew this product was going to be so good for her.
Yeah.
It was just having to be able to show her, and it was the best feeling in the
Oh,
world
totally.
knowing. Oh, it was brilliant. But to this day,
Converting the
yep,
anyone who is reluctant, and I understand people get very set in their ways of doing
yeah,
things. So do I. There's
yeah,
reluctance and almost desire to not want to like it, and
yeah.
those are the best clients.
Still to this day, I remember them.
I do. It makes me think of, I was teaching a class once in Bristol, and a model came in for the training. It was a 1-to-1, and she was a beauty blogger. And she had said, basically laid down and been like, I don't want to do this. And I know I'm not going to like it. And they just given me 5 or 6 reasons why it was going to be a terrible experience, but she was there to help her friend. And I thought, oh, I'm excited about this. Is going to be interesting.
Game
And
on.
it was one of the fastest conversions ever. And I couldn't help but laugh and have a little celebratory moment, because the student put the sugar down, molded it 3 times, and flicked it off. And this woman, this model, she was like, I'm sold, I'm converted. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? That was so fast.
Wow.
I'm like, you could have made it harder. We would have worked
Yeah.
harder for you. But if it's that easy, and I think that's the thing, because people don't know what it's going to feel like, how it's going to
Yep.
work. And I think there is this stigma maybe around natural products that they're not going to be that effective. And like,
Yes.
this is a rough form of waxing, when in
Yeah.
fact sugaring is its own method. It's an alternative to waxing. Very few things about sugaring are similar to waxing, but it's not a rougher or more crude method,
No.
right? So I
Yeah.
think it is fun when you have those moments and you see, sometimes you can tell people feel it, but they're not going to give it to you right away, and you're like, you like it.
Yep.
And I think that's why sugaring breeds the most loyal clients ever,
Yep.
because once they
Absolutely.
experience it and they see your passion for it and your expertise, and as you said, just going on and on and on about it, that going on and on and on about it is what sugaring needs. We need every sugarer in all of the UK, all of Europe, in all of these places where sugaring is up and coming, to talk nonstop about sugaring so people understand what it actually is. Because there are all these misconceptions.
To be honest, once a customer has actually experienced sugaring and had the education behind it, which I think obviously lacks as well with regular beauty, the education side's just not there.
Yeah.
And I had a studio, and during the COVID pandemic, I've actually closed it. And the amount of messages that I see over
Yeah,
social media,
I know.
it saddens me every day. And it's just like, looking for a sugarer in Cheshire. Does anyone recommend? Even all the customers who I used to say to, I'm the only sugarer in Stoke-on-Trent, they're going, oh, can you just recommend another one to me? And I'm like, I can't, because there's nobody else here.
Yeah.
Customers have created a demand for themselves.
Yeah.
I've had other therapists come to me saying, I've been asked about sugaring. Someone's asked me about sugaring.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about it? The
Yeah.
customer is now leading it as opposed to the therapist.
Yeah.
And that's a complete
It is.
U-turn.
It is. And that was the biggest objection when I first started promoting the courses here. And at the time, I was pitching to a lot of bigger salons and spas. I really wanted these. I was working with a lot of individuals, but I also wanted these bigger, more established places to take me seriously, because I felt like it would help establish sugaring in the industry. And the response that I would often get is, why would I offer a treatment that customers aren't asking for? And I would say customers aren't asking for it because they don't know it exists yet.
Yep.
And therein lies your opportunity to bring a treatment that people don't know about, that they don't know exists. It has a certain risk factor. It can feel risky. This could be a huge flop. People may not like it. But if it works, and we can see in our whole community of students and educators that it does work, if it works, it's one of the most distinguishable ways to set your business aside from your competition that is
Yeah.
doing, I see on Instagram about 5 or 6 kind of not basic, but 5 or 6 key trainings that people tend to do here in the UK. And now those are so common that when I go through Instagram, because my whole Instagram is beauty businesses, most profiles have the 5 or 6 key trainings that they've done. And that's wonderful. I'm a huge fan of training. And if you don't want to be just a solely sugaring specialist, you can learn all different things, just like you did. You were
Yeah.
offering tons of facials and treatments in your business, not just
They just
sugar.
couldn't get in
Right.
because the sugaring took over.
Right, right. I think it's a great way to set yourself apart, and I think
Yeah.
particularly right now, people are looking for cleaner and greener alternatives. And with this crisis of COVID that we've had, I was watching a webinar the other day, and the guy running the webinar had said, consumer behavior has completely changed. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a temporary thing. The way people shop, the way people consume, the what people are looking for has completely shifted. And so within that, there are opportunities to kind of go out and have a unique message and to position
Yeah.
yourself outside of the pack and let people know. I think, a business like yours, um, that has such a curated treatment menu, and people know no matter what treatment they get, what product they buy from you, it has a certain standard of ecology considered. So you've considered the environment and you've also considered the ingredients. Um, while that market of people looking for those treatments might be smaller right now than the people who are looking for shellac nails, in time
Yeah.
that will start to progress and get busier and busier. And I know that with full certainty because I already lived through that in the US. I already lived through being one of the first sugarers in the US to the rise of sugaring and it being mainstream and these clean, green, eco beauty businesses being like where it's at. So I can only, I have to believe that that is going to be happening here too. Um,
I
it's
was going
just
to
going
say
to
as
take a little more
well,
time.
when you touched on like the COVID thing, um, I always had a certain like standard with my treatments and my offering anyway. But taking clean on the other side, how clean we are in our treatments and how
Mm-hmm.
clean sugaring actually is, even ignoring like the ingredient side,
Yeah.
with like the disposable bedding, the gloves, the sanitization, how clean a sugar treatment is compared to what I've obviously seen in the industry from the waxing, maybe like the toweling situations and like the sticky residue. The first thing you ever notice when you have a sugar treatment is how clean the room is, how clean the
Mm-hmm.
product is. Everywhere is just so clean. And I think that's a great thing moving forward for the customer,
Yeah.
knowing that everything is so sanitized and individual.
Yeah.
Nothing's reused. It's not a dirty spatula. There's
Yeah.
practically no spatulas used. And
Yeah.
I think that as well on the clean and green side, the how little we use, extra ingredients like the cotton pads. We rarely, if we can use our hands to apply product,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to instead of that cotton pad. We rarely use a spatula now, especially as you move forward in the sugaring and your confidence builds in that.
Yeah.
There's less and less consumables every day.
Yeah.
And just everything that you see from waxing to sugaring is just cleaner, more reduced. There's just it's just so much better.
Yeah. It's certainly there. It side by side in terms of consumable waste.
Yeah.
Sugaring produces much less consumable waste.
Yes.
And also because we have adapted, because the people who are passionate about making sugar paste, promoting sugar paste, teaching sugaring, like
Yeah.
ourselves, tend to not tend to, it's just pretty much across the board, have a certain standard about
It's in our
cleanliness,
blood.
product
Yeah.
ingredients, and consumable waste. is
Yeah.
actually quite a big thing that I think naturally that we have some work to do to help people understand that. But also, it's a really amazing thing when you start working with the treatment and you see your bin has like this much in it, versus like a huge bin with all sticks and strips and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what makes sugaring is people ask about doing sugaring, mobily. Can it be done? Of course it can be done with
Yeah.
certain, plan in
Modifications.
place and getting your sugar paste heated up. But someone messaged me the other day and said, what's the kit look like to sugar mobily? I said, get yourself a carry-on suitcase.
Yeah, yes.
Everything you
Yeah.
need to sugar someone can fit in a carry-on. I have traveled all over the place with a carry-on suitcase that has space in it to spare my extra shoes and everything. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm very well aware of your travel
yeah,
case.
yeah. I've busted like 4 of them last 4 years, but it is amazing how small the actual setup is to get started in sugaring, which makes
Seeing you turn up with that case and just at the trainings and just see you wheel in this little suitcase and thinking, what is she doing? And then seeing you open it up, I was in awe.
efficiency. So
No one
many
needs to
long
pack a
train
case
journeys.
like you.
Yeah.
You are the best at
Well,
packing a
trust
case.
me, it took a little bit of time. Then I started really getting into it, and I was like, "This fits here, and this fits here, and everything has individual bags. Everything has to be wrapped, Ziploc, sanitized. It has its own space, but
Even in training, everything's so clean.
yeah, yeah, because it doesn't have to be overly complicated, and
No.
also because sugar is water soluble, it's
Yep.
like super duper easy to clean up. So I've definitely had instances where I've come home on the late train from Scotland or something, like 10-hour train ride, and come home and just like throwing my luggage on the ground and then woken up in the morning to,
Yep.
zipping the top and it being just like sticky goo everywhere. It's not a fun thing to clean up, but it does come up with a warm, wet towel. So I digress. So now you are doing a lot of education for us, which we love,
I am.
going into
Yeah.
some bigger salons and spas and training up teams and doing
Yep.
traveling. So how does it feel to now teach sugaring after being in the treatment room?
It's such I was so apprehensive of it at first that I forgot that this is actually where I've always wanted to be. I've obviously done the cruise, the uni, and everything. And all I had ever said is that I wanted to make beauty better. I wanted to make the industry better. And I wanted to be a part of people. I wanted people to know that if a student came in or came by and not necessarily me, but like for them to say, I've been trained by the London Sugaring Company, and people, or, other brands, and be able to say, wow, that student knows her stuff. I know that that student is, how can I describe it? Like, I just wanted there to be that standard.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what we do. I
Hmm.
feel like we give that standard, we give the education, and we're giving them so much information that I feel has been lacking. I think I said before that traditionally in our industry, the education has just not been there. Education for the student and education to then pass on to the customer. And
Mm-hmm.
I just know that when we have been in there and we've been into a team, a spa, an individual salon, I know that when I leave, that therapist has so much information that has probably blown their mind.
Yeah.
And that is just going to go on to that customer. And that
Yeah.
customer is actually going to go like light bulb moment.
Yeah.
I now understand why therapists have been going on about, hair removal for so long, and why they've been banging on about the benefits for it. They can actually now see it because they understand it. And to be part of that and to be a part of that full circle from educator to therapist to customer, it's just the icing on
Yeah.
the cake for me, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's so I love hearing feedback. Because I'm not in the classroom anymore when you are all out teaching. I just am waiting around like, how's the day going?
What do I
How's
do?
the day going?
Yeah.
And unanimously what I love about this team and we are all so passionate about sugaring because we have all fallen so deeply in love with it. And also, it is a treatment because it still is kind of up and coming. We know we have to
Yeah.
be vocal and really be a champion for it in order for people to understand what it is and to want to use it. But it's that I hear things in my texts, 6 or 7 o'clock at night after a class. The texts
Yep.
are always, it was awesome and I had so much fun and I really enjoyed it. And what that tells me is that the passion is there, and like that you get that good feeling from sharing the knowledge and from seeing people go on to be successful with it. So I just love that because that's really why we're here. I can bang on and on and on talking about sugaring, the benefits of sugaring, why you should have sugaring. I can tell sugaring 100,000 different ways because it's all I've done for the last almost 14 years now. But I think the heart and soul of what we do is really to help empower people to learn a new skill so that
And
they can
share.
go start a new business. And that's the coolest thing ever. So I love that your story has come from curious about sugaring to
Yep.
becoming a sugarer to opening a sugaring business and sugaring a lot in there to starting to teach sugaring to now
Yep.
transitioning out of the treatment room and focusing solely on teaching is like such the perfect testament to the trajectory that people can go on with sugaring, that there's so
Yeah.
many ways to be a sugarer, and to be a sugaring expert. If education is of interest, there's no rule that says that you solely need to be in the treatment room or you solely need to be teaching or you have to
No.
do both. I'm not in the treatment room, nor am I really teaching in classroom anymore, but I'm still spending all day, every day talking about and promoting sugaring. So it's just
It's on
exciting.
the rooftops.
And it's been so fun to watch you grow and pivot. And, this last year has been challenging and interesting for everybody. And to just step
Yep.
into looking at what you're doing and going, okay, what's next for me? And what do I really want to be doing? And of course, so thrilled that you're here teaching and that you get to share that knowledge. One of the things we talk about a lot is when you're looking for someone to learn from, going out and finding someone who really like resonates with you, you like their story, you're curious about the same thing they're curious about, or that you are interested in going down a similar path, so that not only can you be in the treatment room with them and learn from them, but that you can glean experience from working on a cruise ship, or that, because we're not just here to like show you how to sugar and not communicate
No.
with you at all. We,
No.
it's more of a, if we can have an opportunity to show you what's possible, then
Yep.
that's as huge as learning how to sugar. Because I know for me, until I saw, because I didn't have a lot of other examples of what a sugarer could be.
Yeah.
Like, how does somebody make money from being a sugarer? But once I saw that, I knew I could do it. And so I think you're a great example of showing people that there's a lot of different ways to work in the industry, and that you can be very specific about your
Of
treatments and
course.
the products you use and have a great business from it. So
I just think having that experience, you can help people in so many ways. You know, like you say, I'm out of the studio now, but I have all the knowledge
mhm.
of all the aspects of it. So, I mean, you'll know that, and the same as me, that I was debating if the training was going to be for me. And I was like, okay, I'll test the water. I think I was in there 10 minutes, and the girls were like, so what's sugaring? And I was just like, oh my gosh. And that was it. And seeing
You're
your
like, yeah,
seeing your therapist put the hand into that sugar paste for the first time, and the face of just kind of,
yeah,
what is this? It's just like the best feeling.
it
And within
is.
10 minutes, I was like, yep, that's it.
Yeah,
I am sold. I am down on the educational path, because there's just so much that you want to share. And that's what I love about our group, that it's not all about, I've got a business in sugaring and I'm not going to talk to anybody or help anyone. We are the business that it's like, oh my God, yeah, I've got a business in sugaring. Come in, come see.
yeah,
Let me tell you all about it. And
yeah,
it's just such a community.
yeah,
There's not a come in, train, and see you later.
yeah.
It's We're just a big family.
Yeah,
And it's
that is
fun.
true. There's certainly one of the things that has always been really important to me is to create community and collaboration over a highly competitive environment. And I
Yeah.
think that if you own a sugaring studio and you're willing to teach your neighbor how to sugar, then you at the core believe in that too, and that's the whole entire team. And I work a lot
Yeah.
with U.S. educators as well, and I think for Tamra's, we've got such a we've got a really vast international team, and the general consensus is if someone's passionate and they want to learn to sugar, we're going to teach them how to sugar, and it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter whether they're going to be our competitor or not, because we all benefit. When
Of
I
course we
was
do.
one person in a tiny closet sugaring people and the big sugaring studio started taking off and paying for ads in the paper, of course I had a lump in my throat, like, how am I going to compete? But ultimately, those ads in the paper, I'm dating myself, but those ads in the paper were bringing people into my business, and they were getting people to Google sugaring more. And when they were Googling sugaring more, they were finding me. So I was like, all right, I can get on board with this. Let's get as many sugarers as we can. And so that is, of course, our mission, to get as many sugarers and as many sugaring businesses owners out there
At the end of the day,
in Europe.
we've got customers' best interests at heart. So I would rather everybody sugar and
Exactly.
know that a customer is having the best service possible
Yeah.
than to be stingy and not share my knowledge and know that someone's having something that maybe could be better or improved or just be more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Interview. And so, if you're interested in learning more about Emma, you can find her on our website. Again, she's based in the Midlands in Stoke-on-Trent. She travels for
Okay.
training and can do one-to-ones, groups, basics, intimate, you name it. So
Anywhere.
anyway, she's
Anywhere.
happy to travel.
I am.
We're putting the travel vibes out there. So
Preferably sunny. That's nice.
yes,
Sunny.
yes. Are you somewhere where the sun is shining? Because that is not what's happening here today. Oh, well, thank you so much, Emma. And we'll be sure that everybody knows where to get to you on the website. And I just really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you too.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.